Hello, this is John D. Callahan. It's October 21st, 2022, and these are my important medical records over the past few years, 2021 and 2022. This is my EKG from just a little earlier this year, and we can see that I'm in normal sinus rhythm. Now, I am in normal sinus rhythm over 99% of the time. I can occasionally go into atrial fibrillation, and that has been the case over the last 40 years. However, I've done a good job of keeping myself in normal sinus rhythm, and I have even written a layman's book on it. I have taken this EKG myself with a device called Cardia, made by AliveCor. And it takes the EKG and sends it to my phone. Fabulous product. Moving on. This is my echocardiogram from last year. Now, it's somewhat esoteric. However, we can see that everything's normal. I have a normal heart in size and function. Next, this is my coronary calcium scoring from last year. And we can see nothing but zeros in all four of my coronary arteries. Lastly, this is my stress test from last year. And we see exercise time over 14 minutes. Heart rate is 160. Also, my symptoms I only had a few palpitations, and I stayed in sinus rhythm the whole time. These are the basics from my physical earlier this year in 2022. And my weight is usually about 168 pounds, a little lower than this, early in the morning without clothes before I've eaten. And my blood pressure is always good and low like this. These are my lab reports from earlier this year, 2022. And we can see that all my urine values are very good. Some are slightly out of bounds, but they're fine. Importantly, now, this is my lipid panel, and my total and LDL are a little high, but I believe that's actually better. There's a school of thought that that's actually better than a lot of the common wisdom that says they're low at those levels. You can see I'm a little above 200 and a little above 100. However, the more important values of the HDL, we can see that the HDL is the high 60s and the triglycerides are the low 60s. So that's very good. Moving on, my testosterone has in the past been low. So I'm very pleased it's going up, and I think that's partly due to the more fat that I'm eating in my keto diet. So you can see my testosterone numbers are good. Moving on. Now everything else, I won't go into detail. Everything else is beautiful, in the green, in normal range. No problems at all. Importantly, however, we'll stop here. This is my A1C. Now it did tick up to 5.7 last year, which is the first tick of prediabetes. So I studied and I have been doing keto and low carb, and it's gone down to 5.4. And I believe it'll continue to go down. By the way, regressing just a moment, my good lipid numbers, particularly again the low triglycerides and the high HDL, are because I believe I have taken fish oil for the triglycerides, and I have taken monounsaturated fat in the form of canola and vegetable oil. Although olive oil is probably preferred, I nevertheless did canola and vegetable oil. It turned out to be 1/4 to 1/3 as expensive as olive oil. I couldn't eat olive oil because it put me into atrial fibrillation. And I have a number of videos on that topic. Moving on. Again, everything else is great. No issues at all. C-reactive protein, DHEA, and on, everything. Insulin. Everything's very good. Whenever I do have my labs, I make a record of what I was eating. So in this case, it's my new ketogenic diet. These are the foods. And again, I have videos on what I eat, how I make my special keto breakfast, and the other things I eat once a day now. And I have a video on my favorite dessert. And so over here, and then I briefly talk about what supplements I'm taking. So I do that whenever I have a lab. So it's a little different and a little special this year because it's my first year doing keto. And now we wrap up PSA and everything else is great. So those are my medical records over the past few years, 2021 and 2022. And today is October 21st, 2022. Thank you.